Welcome to Mathematics Alive. Our lesson for today is Mathematical Logic, Lesson 3, Symbolic Arguments. When someone makes a sequence of statements and draws some conclusion from them, he or she is presenting an argument. An argument consists of two components, the initial statements or the hypothesis or premises, and the final statement or the conclusion. Argument types. An inductive argument uses a collection of specific examples as its premises and uses them to propose a general conclusion. So that's from specific to general. A deductive statement uses a collection of general statements as its premises and uses them to propose a specific situation as the conclusion. So that is from general to specific. When presented with an argument, a listener or reader may ask, does this person have a logical argument? Does his or her conclusion necessarily follow from the given statements? An argument is valid if the conclusion of the argument is guaranteed under its given set of hypotheses. An argument is valid if the conclusion is true whenever all the premises are assumed to be true. An argument is invalid if it is not a valid argument. Example 1. Human beings are mortal. Aris is human. Therefore, Aris is mortal. In this argument, the two premises and the conclusion is shown below. First premise, human beings are mortal. This is a generalization. Second premise, Aris is human. This is a specific example. And the conclusion, therefore, Aris is mortal. This is an example of a deductive argument. And here is a Venn diagram for deductive arguments. We have here a subset of the set of mortals, the subset of humans. And then we have the bigger set, which is the set of mortals under the universal set. So we read this as human beings are mortal, X is human, therefore X is mortal. Example number 2. The premises are, I ate candy last week and I had toothache. I ate candy yesterday and I had toothache. I ate candy today and I had toothache. The conclusion is, therefore, eating candy gives me toothache. Number 3 example. All cats are mammals. A tiger is a cat, so a tiger is a mammal. The premises are, all cats are mammals. A tiger is a cat, and the conclusion is, a tiger is a mammal. Number 4. Premise 1, all doctors are men. Premise 2, my mother is a doctor. Conclusion, therefore, my mother is a man. The conclusion here is false because the first premise is false. Classify each argument as deductive or inductive. Number 1. I ate hot dog at Julie's Resto and I got indigestion. I ate hot dog at McDoy's and I got indigestion. Therefore, eating hot dogs give me indigestion. So this is from specific instances, and then a general statement was made. Therefore, eating hot dogs give me indigestion. So from specific to general is inductive reasoning. Number 2, all spicy foods upset my stomach. Caldereta is a spicy food. Therefore, Eating caldereta will upset my stomach. So, this is an argument that starts from a generalization, and then a specific example is given, and then the generalization is applied to the specific example. And this is deductive reasoning. Arguments in symbolic form. First, we have direct reasoning. P, a person is a human being. Q, a person is mortal. So premise 1, if a person is a human being, then he is mortal. Then we have a specific example, premise 2, Ben is a human being. Conclusion, therefore, Ben is mortal. So this is direct reasoning. Contrapositive reasoning. Premise 1, P implies Q. If you bought biscuits, then you went to the grocery. Premise 2, you did not go to the grocery. Conclusion, therefore, you did not buy biscuits. So this is contrapositive reasoning. Determine whether the following argument is valid or invalid. If it is raining, then the game will not be played. It is not raining, therefore the game will be played. So P is it is raining. Q is the game will be played. So in symbolic form, it is P implies not Q. If it is raining, the game will not be played. So since it is not raining, therefore Q, the game will be played. So this is a valid argument. Is this argument valid? Premise 1, if you brush your teeth before bed, then your toothbrush will be wet. Premise 2, your toothbrush is dry. Conclusion, you did not brush your teeth before bed. P, you brush your teeth before bed. Q, your toothbrush will be wet. So this is a contrapositive reasoning because P implies Q. If not Q, therefore not P. And this is also a valid reasoning. Then, another form of reasoning, we have the premise P implies Q. Second premise, Q implies R. Conclusion, P implies R. And this is transitive reasoning. So let's have an example. P implies Q is, if Julia is a lawyer, then she passed the bar examinations. Q implies R. If Julia passed the bar examinations, then she can be our legal counsel. Therefore, P implies R. If Julia is a lawyer, then she can be our legal counsel. Disjunctive reasoning. I bought a car or I bought a motorcycle. I did not buy a car, therefore I bought a motorcycle. So P is I bought a car. Q is I bought a motorcycle. So we have P or Q. Since you can choose between P or Q, if not P, then you still have a choice. Therefore, Q. 4 valid arguments are represented in this table. We have direct reasoning, P implies Q, P therefore Q. Contrapositive reasoning, P implies Q. If not Q, then not P. Transitive reasoning, P implies Q, Q implies R, therefore P implies R. And disjunctive reasoning, P or Q, if not P, therefore Q, or P or Q, if not Q, therefore P. There are also invalid arguments, which are formed by using the converse or the inverse. So we have two standard forms of invalid arguments: the fallacy of the converse and the fallacy of the inverse. The fallacy of the converse is the fallacy of affirming the conclusion if the conclusion is affirmed and therefore the hypothesis is also affirmed. And the fallacy of the inverse is denying the hypothesis. So once you deny the hypothesis, you also deny the conclusion. Example for the fallacy of the converse. If I drink coffee after noon, then I have a hard time sleeping or falling asleep at night. Premise 2. I had a hard time falling asleep last night. Conclusion. Therefore, I drank coffee after noon yesterday. This is a fallacy or false statement because drinking coffee is not the only reason why you cannot fall asleep well the day before or the night before. There are many other factors. Fallacy of the inverse. If you cheat in the online examination, you will fail that examination. Premise 2. You did not cheat in the online examination. Conclusion. Therefore, you will not fail that examination. But there are many other factors why you may fail in an examination. Maybe you did not cheat, but you did not study. So this is a false conclusion. Determine whether the following arguments are valid or invalid. Identify the type of arguments used. Premise 1. If you pull that fire alarm, you will get in a big trouble. Premise 2. You got in a big trouble. Conclusion. You must have pulled the fire alarm. So this is invalid because the pulling the fire alarm is not the only reason why you will be able to get into a big trouble. So what kind of reasoning is this? Number 2, premise 1, if you honor your parents, you will live a long life. And premise 2, Lisa honors her parents. Conclusion, she will live a long life. So, if you honor your parents, you will live a long life. And since Lisa honors her parents, then she will live a long life. So this is direct reasoning, and this is valid. So, number 3, premise 1, if I work hard, I will get a raise in salary. Premise 2, if I get a raise in salary, I can buy a house and lot. Conclusion, if I work hard, I can buy a house and lot. So this is a valid argument, and it is transitive reasoning that was used here. And number 4, premise 1, I will buy a luxury car or a house. Premise 2, I did not buy a house. Conclusion, therefore, I bought a luxury car. So this is disjunctive reasoning. Evaluate if my last argument is valid. If you watch these videos attentively, you will understand mathematical logic. If you understand mathematical logic, you will be a logical thinker. Therefore, if you watch these videos attentively, you will be a logical thinker. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe to this channel by clicking the button below. Bye-bye.